allowed me to like start. Like there's I was able to really just do it, and it wasn't like we're not even talking about making songs. We're talking about the live environment,
Right.
and so like that's like a thank you for real. That's pretty
Hey
cool.
man, I gotta hold like that's what I hold on to because I mean I obviously wanted to be like platinum producer, this, that, whatever, like you gotta think like we're coming up at the same time as like Drake was just Buddy. Sorry, Drake was mixtape Drake at the time, Wheelchair Jimmy, when like we were coming. So it was very like, oh, this could happen if like Canada gets that eye and then like Montreal's right there, like literally by like some kind of Zaboomafoo shit, like we literally could just all blow up and everybody's happy. And things didn't necessarily happen like that. We had our shows and promoters, and then unfortunate things happened within the same year. Shouts to 2011 being like super wild butts and nuts like that. But and then within that same year, that all of us like kind of getting together and like really, I think that was the one time where I could say that Montreal was like unified
Mm.
straight up. That was the one time where I could say Montreal, at least the English scene, was like
Okay,
super, super,
so
super, 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 super unified.
so what
And
unified
like,
it?
uh, yo, honestly, unification came from just people, a lot of people just being dope at the same time. You got to understand, like, when people think of Montreal hip hop before, they were thinking of like KC Elemental P, Shades of Culture, like just like not very like Shades of Culture was prominent, but like really there wasn't many other people to accompany them. And then after the ICM wave, like once it was like still kind of like Hodges and like vibes and stuff, but then once that kind of curved, and I did eventually leave the Velvet Trend vibes to kind of like do my own hip hop thing this way in terms of I really wanted to produce and I wanted to stop drumming because being a drummer is fun, but like you're the only one picking up your gear, especially when everybody else in the group is a rapper and you got one guitarist. So it's like it's shit. So I left the group around circa 2007. I really wanted to kind of like focus on production. So this era when we were coming up, '08, like we had again Rico, we had CL I had already met at this point. Brick was really just coming up at this point. Then we had like Justice and LL5 that was still really rocking around. We had a lot of like Magnum had just like he's always been around, but like he just like really popped up again, and like he did I think Downtown in My City was one of his joints that was like really made me look at him. And then he also had this other Expos Fitted. Expos Fitted that kind of put Montreal like that gave us our battery. Expos Fitted was they gave us a big, big battery. I'm not forgetting CX Logic and iBlast, SRH, all of them. Yeah. Our roster was sick because the people you see on my joint pointer, which I eventually will get to,
Okay, but okay, let me just
are huge.
interject a bit. So you have a sick
Interject.
roster, my guy. I could tell you right now on some data shit. I can find you that roster. What do you do next?
You get that roster. We just they had the movement that I wasn't officially a part of. Rico could really speak to this. This was what I don't remember what it was called. New Money? What was it? New Money? But they had a whole movement that was led by Kinda Bad News and Magnum and those guys, Dirtwork. And they were just, it was really just about promoting the dope MCs. So, you had Black Gloves, you had Elon Ski, SRH. Yeah. Yeah, it was like Shogun, you had Pesci, everybody like Peso, Frost, like mad people. Oh man, like yeah, there was just so many people. Like it was just big. It was big times. I was kind of still trying to get my footing in there. I didn't know Tick so much at the time. I didn't know Vince so much at the time. But like Borden heavy, yeah. Wow, like it was just a crazy time. The unification came from that. One fine evening on Saturday, boys jumped on Masters at Work. Ninjas just started talking about how we like they literally like bum rushed the show, took over saying how they're about the new money, like they're about like the new wave and stuff, and they're not trying to hear this old shit. It was really kind of comical because like you would never see those kind of like wrestling antics at all in Montreal, especially in Montreal. So that shit was just like nuts to see, and like it kind of just it started a wave, but then within that same wave, tragic shit happened and just kind of It just kind of just like stopped it a little bit. So yeah.
Right.
I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. You guys can remind me in the chat because I'm looking at the chat for all the names. And yeah,
No, they
I
added a
see them.
bunch of names there. It's not like so I'm like fascinated on replication, right? Like, so let's say you want to repeat this process. It's not impossible. Listen, anybody who wants to tell me that Montreal doesn't have dope things doesn't actually understand the scope of fucking people in this city, right? So right now we have a list with at least like 800 names on it. That's clunky. But like, I have a playlist on Montreal that has like fucking 11 hours of Montreal. Trust me, you want to find dope? We can break it down by genre. We can organize the city, but like, it's always been the then what. But it always seems to boil down to collectives and organized leadership, and that's where it gets kind of iffy with egos. But and anyway, perspective is what I'm focused on right now. If
We used to
people,
all hang out. That's what fostered unity. Yeah, Rico's right. Like we used to just we were like-minded people. We were just like, oh, we all want to do this hip hop shit. Most of us all smoked weed. We all like kind of just got together. We got along. It wasn't beef kings. It wasn't ego then. It came that shit came later, and it was weird when it came later. But like at that time, we were all like, we were very much like, this is our mission. This is what we want to do. We live in a little rock called Montreal. We want to be noticed more than just a French poutine place. We want to bring English hip hop here and make it prominent. And like we all of us tried to do that to like our dearest.